Good afternoon. My name is Matthew, and with me is Brian, and we're here to introduce to you BronchUS, our novel and innovative bronchoscopic training unit. Better training for safer medicine. We facilitate advanced, realistic, and cost-effective training for your students today. Before diving into this, we'd like to first discuss the current life-threatening complications of bronchoscopy. These are pneumothorax, atelectasis, airway obstruction, and massive pulmonary hemorrhage. All of these can lead to death, and all of these can be preventable.
Our main competition comes from the virtual reality field, and they're called BronchMentor. As you can see, they are very expensive. They elicit no tactile feel, unlike our device, and they are incapable of biopsy. You then have Koken, a 3D printed model. Well, yes, it is quite cheap, but it's not clinically challenging. It lacks realism, and there's only a qualitative, no quantitative assessment component. Finally, you have animal lung models, which incorporate no pathological segmentation. It's actually not capable of endobronchial ultrasound, and the lungs themselves are actually quite costly to maintain. So what are the main components of our device? Well, firstly, you've got this very novel component of adding these pathological appendages, where all the materials used will be ultrasound attendable and resemble pathological tissue states. For example, the foam core is a highly inelastic material and will resemble pulmonary fibrosis. The quartz fiber is a highly elastic material and will resemble pulmonary emphysema. The incorporation of these materials make our device both diagnostically challenging and clinically accurate. We're also incorporating a quantitative assessment component, and that's via our electromagnetic board, which essentially provide the user with feedback regarding the accuracy of their own bronchoscopic performance, whilst also allowing for self-improvement, which we hope, in time, will lead to an overall reduction in the complications associated with bronchoscopy. We're also incorporating lung shells, which will be made of silicone and highly durable. We're incorporating lymph nodes, which will be plastic-based and biopsiable.
And we also have the incorporation of vocal cords. How we've done this is we've made BronchUS attachable to the hospital mannequins. This will allow your trainees to safely maneuver the vocal cords and prevent laryngospasm. There's also a 3D bronchial tree made of ultrasound attendable material, again allowing anatomically accurate simulation of EBUS. Now, we have something that we've called the juggling effect that we've incorporated into our device design. The idea behind this is that if I were to give each of you 8 balls to juggle now, we most likely wouldn't be able to. But if I were to give you the balls one at a time, you'd slowly build the skills necessary to be able to juggle all 8. How we've done this is we've started off with 1 ball, something easy, maneuvering the airways. Once you're competent with this, we'll add a 2nd ball, getting past the vocal cords, a 3rd and a 4th ball through reviewing normal and pathological lung, and a 5th and a 6th through biopsying normal and pathological lung. Before you know it, you'll be juggling all 8 balls, having practiced different procedures such as EBUS and foreign body removal. By doing this, our trainees, the trainees using our model, will become more confident and more competent and hopefully prevent them from dropping the ball in a clinical setting.
So, at this point, you're probably thinking BronchUS will be realistic, diagnostically accurate, comprehensive, and safe. But then surely it's very expensive. Well, actually it's not. As you can see from our list of raw materials, it comes to actually less than $5,000 US. Our main competitors are priced at over $57,000 US. Our business plan at BronchUS will be to develop our specific product specification. We're then going to get 3 manufacturing companies to bid to produce our product. Whichever company we choose will then send the product to the distributors who pass them on to the hospitals themselves. We're going to raise seed capital via the following funding bodies, but in particular Enterprise Ireland and Equity Crowdfunding. And prior to our equity crowdfunding, we're going to arrange our intent to patent our device. Our multidisciplinary team will include patent lawyers and IT technicians. As you can see from this graphical depiction, focusing on 4 of the most important aspects of bronchoscopic training, we incorporate all 4. Our competitors do not.
We also have a long-term business plan in place, the most important aspect of which, as you can see, is to raise abundant developmental capital. This will allow us to move from an expensive 3D printing of our bronchial tree to a cheaper mold production, thus allowing us to decrease our production costs and increase our profits. As well as this, you might add that there are over 1,000 teaching hospitals in the US alone, which just gives you an idea of the size of our market. To briefly touch on our profit margins, our raw materials come to less than $5,000. If we were to sell our product for, say, $25,000, $32,000 cheaper than our main competitor, we'd have a gross profit of $20,000 per unit. Now, we haven't our price set in stone, so with $32,000 gap, there's a lot of room to change. Not only do we have a once-off sale, but there will also be annual products. The appendages, although they are removable and durable, they will eventually need to be changed due to their biopsy nature. As you can see, they come to about $5 and they can be sold for a lot more. We also have an annual subscription for our electromagnetic board software and product servicing when needed. The take-home message is, at BronchUS, we are all-encompassing and lower cost. But most importantly, we improve patient safety and diagnostic accuracy through better training. And if anybody has any questions, we'll take them. Bye.